What is up, all my beautiful dolly friends? I am Dr. Doll and welcome to another video. So we've talked about some different doll companies from the 90s. We've talked about American Girl. We've talked about the Journey Girls that Toys R Us had put out and have since sold to Amazon. We've talked about Our Generation. We've talked about the Springfield collection. There are dolls that were out that are no longer available, but I think it would be remiss to leave out a very major doll company during that golden era of dolls. And I say golden era of dolls, but specifically the 18-inch dolls. Now, this one was not an 18-inch doll, at least not at first. But it also experienced a golden age during the late 90s alongside American Girl. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. I am talking about the My Twinn Doll company. So I have some notes. You'll excuse my very unprofessional way of reading them, but the My Twinn company was founded originally in 1993 in Angora, California, by John Kerdika and Lisa Driscoll. And Dr. Kerdika was an ER physician, so he had noticed that his patients, his child patients, would gravitate towards dolls, especially dolls that looked like them. So he sort of started to make his own dolls and molds to look like the patients that he was helping. He designed them to be comfort items for sick children. It's a really noble cause, and it was a really wonderful idea. It seemed to do very well, and in 1995, he sold his business to the flagship group, Ken Theus and Lane Anderson. It was a privately held Colorado mail order company. Catalogs, mail order was huge in the 90s. Absolutely huge. I can't emphasize that enough. American Girl doll catalogs, many of us grew up with them. We dreamed over them. We drooled over them. And My Twinn was no different. My Twinn had their own catalogs, and that was how you ordered your dolls. So the era of 93 to 95 was known as the California era. 95 to 2001 was known as the Denver era, or the Colorado era of My Twinn, which is considered to be sort of the golden age. Really, both of those, the California and the Denver era, were the golden age of My Twinn. Now, interestingly enough, the devastating effects of 9/11, the terrorist attacks on the Twin Towers that happened September 11th, 2001, had a devastating impact on holiday sales of My Twinn dolls, which is interesting. I always knew that 9/11 had enormous impact on our country, and an enormous impact on not just on like a societal and cultural level. Obviously, we went to war afterwards, but also it affected financially many businesses. And I had no idea there was a doll company, such a prominent doll company, that was affected. Apparently, they had projected a certain number of sales for the holidays that year, and it just didn't happen. And because of that, things just started spiraling downwards. They passed hands several times. I believe they declared bankruptcy a couple of times. And because of right after 9/11, sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained. To cut costs, and this is like, I don't know why, but it's like all doll companies did this at some point. To cut costs, they stopped making them here in the US or whatever country of origin, and decided to make them in China. And unfortunately, the quality, because My Twin was very much like, you shipped in a picture of yourself, and a lot of times, not only did you have a special mold, but an artist would actually like create and captivate those features, those unique features. Like, they were very, very distinct and unique dolls. So to take that very like individual product and try to make them in a Chinese factory, it just didn't work. Quality went down. I guess wigs were being put on lopsided. Eyes were starting to be put on crooked. They didn't have that special artist touch that they did before. And as you can imagine, the consumers were not happy. So in 2013, after having more than a decade of sort of rough seas, My Twin decided that they were going to scrap everything that made their dolls unique and jump on board the 18-inch doll train, which was so dumb in my opinion, because I'm not saying that they couldn't make a gorgeous 18-inch doll, but you had a unique product. You had a 23-inch doll that was unique to you, that your customer base has loved and adored for 20 years, and you're throwing that away and saying, we're going to compete with these other companies that have been doing this for 20 years, 20 or 30 years. By then, AG, Batat, they knew what worked. They knew their customer base. They've been doing it for years and years and decades. And My Twin's like, yep, everything that our customers love about our dolls, we're just going to throw that away, and we're going to make 18-inch dolls now. And they tried to be more like mainstream. They had just a few molds you could choose from. I guess that didn't work out so well, shocker. And they officially started liquidating in 2015. And then in January of 2016, officially closed their doors for good. So why am I giving you this little history lesson? By the way, I got all of that information off of logansladies.com. It was very good information. If you'd like to read up on it, please do so. But why am I bringing all of that up? Well, I don't have a lot of personal history with My Twin dolls. I certainly didn't own one. Just owning a American Girl doll was an incredible privilege for me and for someone in my circle. I don't remember how much a My Twin doll cost back in the day, back in the 90s, but I think it was more than an American Girl doll. And I suspect that because I only had one friend that had one, and her mother was a doctor and her father was a lawyer, and she was an only child. So just putting two and two together, I think they were pretty pricey. Certainly none of my close, inner circle of friends had a My Twin. And so I think it was, it was definitely not the friends that I grew up with. It just wasn't a thing. I know that a lot of people did grow up with them. I remember seeing them and thinking it was interesting. The other thing was I just wasn't that into dolls that looked like me. I've said this before, but at the time, the American Girl doll that looked like me was the 13. Didn't really do much for me. I was an overweight, chubby child with brown hair, brown eyes. I went through puberty in second grade, so I wasn't super interested in having a doll that looked like me. I wanted a doll that did not look like me, that was that was beautiful, you know, that I could kind of like get away from reality by playing with her. So, you know, I wasn't, maybe if you were like a beauty pageant, one of those like toddlers and tiaras, then maybe the My Twin was more for you. But for me, it was like, ugh, I don't want, you know, I don't want a doll that looks like me. Like, ooh, I want a doll that looks pretty. So, it just wasn't really my thing. I bought my first ever My Twin doll last week, and I just got her today in the mail. Now, this is from the Denver era, I believe. So, this is during the golden age of My Twin dolls. And this one, the seller told me, was in TLC condition, which I have very little experience with My Twin dolls, so I don't exactly know what she means by TLC condition. I know that one of her lashes is coming off. Okay, it looks like she's definitely got some marks on her. Oh, her wig's coming off too. Hi. Okay. So, you can see if you look at her face. Also, it seems like her neck is not connected properly anymore. Okay. There's definitely something going on with her head, her neck. I'll look at that in a second. Hair is frizzy, obviously, and it's kind of like it's coming off at the top. It kind of smells weird. I don't know what that's all about. So you can see her lashes here have come unglued a little bit. You can see why these dolls were very popular and did appeal to a certain audience, though. They are very lifelike. You can, if you look at their eyes, these are fixed eyes, by the way. They don't open and shut. But look at the amount of detail work in that pupil and in the iris. And this is after, 30 years of fading. Beautiful lips, beautiful artistry, really, just a beautiful mold. Someone compared them to porcelain dolls that you can play with. They had just beautiful expressions. I wonder if I can just pull this wig off. Is that a possibility? Can I just rip it off? Ew, this glue is tacky. It's weird. Okay, bye wig. Her head seems really loose. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to take her shirt off. Obviously, this isn't my twin. This was someone had this doll made back in the 90s. I don't know why she sold it. I don't even think the seller that sold her to me was the original owner. I guess she could have been, but okay, I don't know what's going on back here. But obviously the seam in the back has busted and the foam is showing. Her head is very wobbly. What's going on here? What's going on? Why is her head so wobbly? Alright, well, I guess I'll have to figure that out another day. Interesting. Her body doesn't seem to be dirty. I mean, obviously the stitching needs to be fixed, but, yeah. Now, another thing that people love about these dolls is the posability. So they're built on sort of like a bendable wire frame. So they have a lot of articulation. Makes them great for photographs. It does look like her head is on a zip tie, but there's some sort of joint, though, that the head that has come loose. So I'm going to have to inspect that and see what's going on there, because it looks like something is broken on her neck, some kind of joint. I don't know how these dolls are built. This is the very first one I've ever even held. So I'll have to do a little research. These pants seem very big for you. I don't think these are My Twinn pants. But you can see why they were popular. I mean, not only was it a doll that looked like you, that was incredibly unique, you know, but they also had very realistic features. So, unfortunately, they just couldn't recover after 2001. They never really got their footing back and had to close their doors. So, but I remember people talking about them. I remember like seeing one when I was little and being like, huh, interesting, you know. But I wasn't around them a lot. I wasn't. So this will be my first real like hands-on experience with a My Twinn doll. Now, I'm not planning on selling her. I'm planning on keeping her. I don't have a 23-inch doll, so I'd love to add her to my collection. I think she is very pretty. I mean, obviously she's TLC, but we're going to fix her up. I love her lashes. They're so soft and pretty. And her eyebrows are very pretty too, although they faded over time. Definitely has some markings. I'm not sure what that's all about. I have bought her a wig. I've ordered her a wig from Zazu. It's this cute, like, sort of auburn, blonde, red, and it's got bangs. I ordered her a cute little outfit. I'm going to figure out what's going on with her neck. Why there's some joint that's just not connected or that's broken off or something. So we're going to figure out what's going on with that. We're going to fix her up and we're going to make her pretty again because that's what we do. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will keep you updated on her transformation progress. And please leave name ideas for me down below. Maybe it'll be easier to name her as she starts to look better. It's a little bit hard right now to find a suitable name, but maybe when she gets her wig on, then we can come up with a name together. So anyways, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. And she's a good waver. She's a good waver. Bye-bye.